time. And it is now my pleasure to introduce to you our next speaker, Bettina Duesmann, Gesellschaft für Bindungsanalyse nach Hidas und Raffai, Creating Waves, is your university, School of Knowledge and Building at Hidas and Raffai. Sorry, I butchered the German.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you also for this symposium. It's amazing, all this intensity of information. And it's more that I can take in these 2 or 3 days. So I'm looking forward also to the recordings. Yes, I'm Bettina Duesmann. I'm living in Germany. I'm a midwife for more than 3 decades, and I'm assisting women to give birth in a birth center or at home. And I'm also a facilitator of prenatal bonding, which is bonding analysis by Raffai and Hidas. And I'm on the board of the society also, and I'm happy to present this talk to you today. So I just start to share screen. Let's see. Okay, good. So better like that. Okay. So I named this talk Creating Waves. Waves are so like an organism. It is coming and going. There are intervals, there are pauses, there's relaxation, and there might be tension to give birth. Being with prenatal bonding, BA. So what is that? It's a bit misleading, this name, bonding analysis. And I will share a bit about it. Before I go there, I want to give you the context, because being born is crucial. It's a life-shaping experience, and it may also shape further transitions. But what if birth is already starting earlier? What if nidation is as well a kind of birth, as well as hatching? And what if the way we are conceived is already creating waves as a basis for the background melody of our lives? What if even elements of our ancestors' lives influences the way we relate to ourselves, to others, and our environment? If we are as vulnerable and shapeable as research and narratives suggest, wouldn't it be worth considering all of this early in pregnancy, or even more earlier, so when planning to become pregnant? So in prenatal bonding, BA is all taking this into account. And I'm going to share with you the 2 guys that developed prenatal bonding. They both have been psychoanalysts. This is why the name is bonding analysis. But they didn't intend to do a therapy or new method to treat. But for them, it was really a prevention, a method with the aim of having a preventative effect on the mental health of the developing human being during pregnancy. And before I go into detail how prenatal bonding BA works, I want to show you the Society of Prenatal Bonding BA, located in Germany, is now 5 years old. This is 10 years after Raffai's death. And it has already kind of 170 members with different professionals. There are some more professionals in the US that are not organized in the society, but also are trained by members of the society. So as you see, there are different professionals, and Raffai has trained in Germany and Austria, in Hungary. Both were coming from Hungary, and it was Ludwig Janus who made Jeno to do this training, to bring it into the world. Prenatal bonding actually is facilitated in Hungary, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Belgium, France, the Netherlands, Poland, the US, Italy, Luxembourg, and for the trainings I intended. So what about creating waves? What is really creating waves are the results, and I want to start with the results first. This is a study, an evaluation study, that has been published in 2023. It's conducted by Anne Gerhard Schroth, and Relaine Phillips. And they took the evaluation of 295 pregnant women and babies that underwent prenatal bonding. So creating waves, look at the numbers. So the preterm birth rate in this cohort was at 1%, whereas in the US it would be at 10%, in Europe 8.6% at that time. The C-section rate in this cohort was but 18%, whereas it is more than 30% in the US and in Europe. And in many other countries it is even more, in some it is less. Postpartum depression, 1%. This is unheard of, so 17% worldwide. Breastfeeding after birth was 99% and after 6 months at 94%. Whereas in Germany, the numbers are at 74 and 66. And infant crying was at 0.3%, whereas in Germany, it was about 20%. So how can that be? What is done that these numbers could be possible? So let me share. The structure of prenatal bonding BA is in different parts. The first part is history taking. This may be 3 sessions or even more or a bit less. And this history taking is also taking into account the early life of the parents. So what do they know about their way of having been conceived, of having been wanted, about the pregnancy, about their birth? This is not for therapy, I already told you. This is to get an insight about the field, about the tissue the parents to be have been raised in. And this is a precious time because the parents get an insight they often didn't have before. Especially when looking at the family story reference to the parents and grandparents. Then the second part are baby sessions. Baby sessions are provided once a week, and they go along with the talk with the baby and the mother or the father or both of them. And then separation sessions will take place at week 36 to week 38, preparing the parents as well as the baby for the transition to happen, the birth. There will be an evaluation at 1 month after birth and another one 6 months after birth. First of all, the mother is supported to be in a good, nourished situation. So for her to experience her own body sensations, to give them words, to experience her needs and to communicate her needs, this is at the core. And self-attachment is a precondition for the ability to bond. Renourishment could be needed when the mother, expectant mother, father, or co-parent has not have such much love from their parents. The information, we already heard the talk of Agnes. We give it a try. So we give information about pregnancy, healthy habits, nutrition, psychoeducation like autonomic nervous system or polygonal theory. The uterus is perceived as a multi-generational organ because it grew when it was in the grandmother's lap. And it's the first home for the baby, and it's the place for the encounter of the baby and the parents. So when you see this shell now, this is like a hole. And I want to use it as a symbol for the continuity. So it does matter how the conception has been. It does matter how nadation has been. It does matter how discovery was. And what is so very crucial is that the individual understands her own life as a continuity. So no breaks. She can make sense out of what life was for her, how it underwent. And these early life prints are discovered. In the baby sessions, the woman will share about experience from the week. She will be in a deep relaxation. She will be aware of her body sensations, and she will be making contact. Both of them will find out their way of communicating, and they will say a kind of goodbye when leaving the session. The experience may be then shared with the facilitator. The facilitator is not the one to be in the bonding process. He or she is the one to provide the space to go into this relationship. The baby starts to make the experience to be listened to be shared. The baby shares own experiences, sensations, expressions. And the baby gives feedback about the mother's or parents' behavior. And when the baby makes the experience that the parents listen to this feedback, it also may be a start of self-efficacy. And the baby is perceived and mirrored, which is the basis for trust and social competence. So when you look at this image now for the baby, it's all in a blend. So who is who? And I am in my mother's belly, but who is my mother? So we don't know. It was at the core for Hidas and Raffai to start very early, and they start around in week 32 with a differentiation. This means there's a game, a discovery game or a mirror play where the mother explains to the baby, so see, you have your borders, this is your body, and I have mine, and you have your own rhythm, and my heart is beating in my own rhythm. So this is in 8 weeks before birth that it's already started to realize, well, we are two. There's this relationship with my mother, and I have my own story coming out from conception, nidation, discovery, umbilical cord affects, and getting into birth. This time of transition for the woman to become the mother of the child, whereas she was the daughter of her parents, for the expectant man, it is also becoming a father, for the baby to have this transition from in utero to get outside into the world. And this is facilitated by the sense of continuity that is provided with this method. The separation sessions are into being aware about what was the pregnancy about, what were my feelings, the ambivalency about leaving or wanting to know how the world is, curiosity and withhold. So the baby will be informed about what will change when the baby leaves. Sorry, what was this? Oh, sorry. Okay, I think that's not for me. So what is very important is that the baby and the mother, they are reassured to reconnect after birth. And this is also for going through this process of birthing, they work as a team, so they do it together. There are special interventions that go beyond medical treatment. And this is very precious because the women have a sense of they can do something, even if the doctors say, well, it is how it is, we can't do anything anymore. So there are different patterns. And when you read these interventions, you can see there are different, many various topics why somebody is choosing to go for prenatal bonding BA. Prenatal bonding BA is fostering the mental health in the sense of it's tidying up. So what are the mother's topics? What are the baby's topics? And it prevents to have the transmission of generational topics to the newborn baby. So it's like a protection so that the baby can have a start on its own. The facilitator is in a healing presence, aware of own early childhood, early lifetime experiences, offers empathic and non-judgmental support, provides a safe space, is a container for unheard feelings, and is witness to the inner process. So it's very welcome that the pregnant women or the parent, that they express their feelings how they are, so that they feel accepted and welcomed, and that out of this sensation, they can also accept and welcome their baby, however the baby may be and whatever it may be bringing. So there's further literature. There's one pilot study that is still conducted, and it brings a new area of research in this topic because it's the first study where it's that is working with the control groups. So there are 50 couples without and 50 couples without with prenatal bonding BA and 50 pregnant women without. And the results are hinting to confirm what has been shown in the study I just shared. There are podcasts to inform yourself. There are links. And so thank you very much for listening.